not planning on that.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah, actually, you couldn't believe he was there.
Hello? All right. It's good to see everyone. Thank you for being here. Obviously, didn't plan on this night. Just came out that way. When I last saw you guys, I told you that we needed to make changes, and we have started that process. While I cannot speak to all of the potential changes, as it's hard to predict what we might look like in a week or two. What can I talk about is draft selection and the trade we made recently. So we have been very diligent this offseason, assessing every aspect of this team and made the initial changes to staff that were very difficult yet necessary. So the highlights, we added Wes Unseld, Dan Craig to our coaching staff. We moved John Bryan to front of the bench. We brought Henry Domerkant as an assistant now from Windy City, and Billy D. III will take over as the head coach of Windy City. We also added Eric Waters as the director of health and performance. So a lot of staff stuff is still in progress. I'm giving you a lot of information because you're obviously happy to see me. I do not give you enough time, but here I am. A lot of information. I'm obviously happy about the trade. I'm happy that we were able to get this deal done and bring Josh to Chicago, bringing a very talented guard that is an elite playmaker and rebounder with elite size. His game is predicated on making everyone better around him. Those guys are hard to find, and they are not available. We were fortunate to get him, and it comes at a high price, which was a C. I wanted to thank Alex for an amazing 3 years. He was great for the city of Chicago and Bulls organization, and we wish him all the best in OKC. And the last, obviously, to touch on a pick today. It's an exciting day. Another Chicago kid. One caveat that he's also, Lithuanian. I did not plan for this today. It just worked out that way. But we're very excited to add him to our young group. Very versatile wing swing that played for Ignite. We watched him all year, and very happy to add him. I take my role of reshaping this team very seriously, and tonight was an important step in that direction. As I've said, everything is on the table. I want fans to know that we are committed and the process of building a team for a long-term success. So we've made some initial changes this offseason, and now our focus shifts on Friday to free agency. Well, we can't predict exactly what's going to happen. We determined to strengthen our roster. With that, I'll open it up for questions.
Arturas, hey now. You say obviously you can't predict what you're going to look like in a week or two, but it's hard not to look at the Caruso-Fergitti trade and now obviously adding a 19-year-old and not look at it overall as the start of a pivot from competitiveness, fighting for play-in or the 8th seed, to maybe more of a youth movement. Is that where you guys are headed?
I think directional stuff we're going to be able to more establish in a week or two. So we're going to wait. I'm going to let the free agency process work it out, and we're going to have more information. I can comment that later.
Joe Colley, Sun-Times.
Hi, Joe.
Hi. One of the things before we get to that is with Josh, one of the things he brought up was his role changed as the team got better. The opposite of that is as the team got better, his role diminished. What did you see his season play out to be? And are you concerned that, yes, I mean, he comes with a lot of promise, but on a team that was preparing for a championship run, he kind of faded, lost playing time in that Dallas series, and then lost a starting job eventually?
Well, I think he's still 21. His production was really good the last 3 years. He has room for growth, and I think, coming here to Chicago, he's going to be able to demonstrate more playmaking, and he'll make everyone else better. Probably one of the areas that he's going to get better. Actually, most of the players that come to our league, they become a better shooters. So I think once he becomes a better shooter, he's going to be a threat, and then he's going to be able to make much better. So, but like I said, I didn't, I was close to him, and he was, 6'8", for a guard, great size, and I always liked the fact that he rebounded, which we also need help with. So.
Hi, Arturas. Good. We'll go to the Caruso part of it and the trade for him. It's been reported that just at different times, it's been different offers of teams maybe offering you draft picks and draft capital for Caruso, and you decided to take a player trade instead. I'm just kind of curious if you can explain your philosophy with that and why maybe you value this trade over a trade that may have brought back draft capital instead.
Well, I think that's a trade that we preferred over picks because it's hard to acquire players this young, this productive, that early in their careers, especially when he already has like 11 triple doubles in his career. So yeah, so we were just excited, and we thought that was the price to pay for Josh.
Yeah, Arturas. Matas just talked about your relationship with his father. What can you tell us about the extent of that relationship, how far back it goes, and just how close are you with him?
No, I mean, I know his dad. I think he was PT for Lithuanian national team, and I've met him a couple of times. We had conversations, and I met him when he worked with Jonas Valančiūnas, also another Lithuanian player that plays in our league. So yeah, I knew their family. It's a good family, but he grew up in Chicago, and we added another Chicago kid to the roster.
Hey, Arturas, just kind of piggybacking off Jamal's question. I think one of the criticisms of that deal was that you didn't get one of Oklahoma City's picks in it with Giddey. Can you just speak to why that went down that way, and what were your thoughts on that?
I feel that this deal was fair. Both sides got what they wanted. What OKC accomplished, they got the guards, and more of a vet, and we went with Josh, who's still 21 years old and has been very productive, and we're looking to the future. So that was the rationale behind it. I think it was a good deal for both.
Arturas, you've got the pick going to the Spurs next year, top 10 protected, and then top eight the following years. I'm curious how that factors into your plans for next year in terms of, is that something that you're going to aim to try to keep and not convey? Is that going to be like a shorter term thing, or are you not at all focused on that?
I don't think our plans for next year are going to be impacted by our pick. So I think what's going to be available in free agency, which we still don't know. I think directional stuff will be next 2 weeks, so we'll have more information and we'll be able to see what we look like as a team.
Arturas, you've said publicly many times you hope to re-sign DeMar DeRozan. There's been quite a bit of speculation about his future. Obviously, he can make his own choice starting Sunday. Mm-hmm. Are you still confident in re-signing him, and is that something the organization still wants to do?
As I said also before, we're going to look at everything. Everything is on the table, and it's still an option.
Okay. Real quick following up. You said also you wouldn't answer kind of overall philosophy of directional, but you'll talk to us after free agency. If memory serves, you don't talk after free agency. Next time you talk,
Well,
is
I'm
training
going to
camp.
see you hopefully in summer league, and we can chat. I'll tell you all about it. So
I don't know about that. I'm going to hold you to that. Okay.
there we go. So I think yeah, it's important time. We still have to tomorrow, second day of the draft, and then free agency starts, and like I said, a week and 2 weeks away from now, we're going to be able to comment on that.
How do you see Giddy and Matas playing together? What the guy just picked? What position is he in the NBA? What's his position, and how does that impact with Patrick Williams?
So I'm very qualified to say his name. Matas Buzelis. Yeah, his versatility. It's very evident. In terms of his position. Our league is moving towards like multi-positional wings. And just size and athleticism and versatility. You can put it on the floor and then switchability. Right. He averaged more than 2 blocks per game. So. I don't know exactly what to expect, next year, but I know that those guys are going to be on the floor and they're very versatile. So, and then, once we know after a couple of weeks what we look like, we can, obviously talk organizationally and obviously with Billy how we're going to play.
Lonzo Ball expressed some optimism that he'd be ready for the start of this next season.
Me too.
Will that be here? Do you expect, is that something you guys are expecting, that he can be ready to play, and do you expect to, have him on the roster?
Yes, it's moving along. We don't know what he's going to look like in a month or two. So we're just going to take one step at a time, and hopefully he's going to be ready for training camp.
Contact with him since the season has ended?
Yeah, so we have contact. He's continues, working. He comes here to work out, and then he continues his work in LA. We're gonna touch base next week, and I think he's gonna be around the team also in summer league. So, yeah, the work is, continue to work, and we'll see what we're gonna look like in 2 months.
Arturas, following up on that, is Lonzo still on schedule to start 5-on-5 full scrimmages in August, I think was talked about?
Yes, he's clear to do pretty much everything on the floor. So we continue to strengthen him, and and like I said, next 2 months we'll see what he's going to look like. So.
And then follow up to that with going back to Josh, obviously you guys have to make a contract decision on him possibly after this next season. Is this kind of a dress rehearsal for him, or in your mind, when you acquired him, this is for long term? I mean, you are looking to lock him up.
Well, when you make deals, I think you always hope for a long time, right? So, but for him is now, he went back to Australia. He's going to play for a national team, and he's going to go to Olympics, and then he's going to come back, and for the first time, he's going to be able to see his teammates, and we'll take it from there.
Arturas, you've got 2 other guys beyond Lonzo coming off surgeries. Zach told us in February in Los Angeles that he was ahead of schedule and that he kind of expected a normal offseason. What is his status, and what is Patrick Williams' status in terms of coming off his surgery?
I think Zach is fully cleared to do everything, and Patrick is still on his way to recovery. But they, like I said, they should be ready this summer. So I think so. We got to look at his schedule, but I think he was planning to be ready for training camp. Yeah.
Arturas, can you talk about how much did you guys even spend much time discussing Buzelis before the draft, since he was expected to go?
Well, we
higher?
did. You spend weeks and weeks on studying those guys. You expect certain guys to go earlier before you, and certain guys drop. But again, we were patient. At 11 pick, that's what we had picked the highest, and we made a selection, and we're really happy to see him there. Can't you tell? I'm very happy. It's been a long day, so sorry.
What do you think Matas got or gained by going the G League route versus the college route? And what do you see as the pros and cons in a situation like that?
Well, he played against men, right? So, you know, the one thing that, you know, that Ignite team just got beat up, and a lot of those guys came from winning programs, but, you know, this year they didn't win that many games, but they competed against, you know, grown men. So I think physicality and, you know, as close as you can get to NBA game, that's what they experience in G League. So hopefully that translates into NBA for him faster. But he has a lot of things to work on, and I think he's looking forward to it.
Arturas, you said you know you're going to let us know the direction once free agency goes. How much time have you guys spent kind of looking at different directions you can go in? I mean, obviously there's the one competing for a playoff spot, and then there's the rebuild, and then there's kind of a middle ground. Like, have you guys, you know, kind of carved these out, what you think it could look like?
Well, you prepare yourself. We just don't know who's going to be available in free agency. So once we know that, we're going to be able to tell more about free agency.
First, have you been informed by Torrey Craig or his representative if he's picked up his player option?
No, not yet.
Do you expect him to pick up his player option?
I don't know. We'll wait.
You got 2 more days.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Casey.
Anybody else? Thank you, Artur.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Are you guys picking up my player option?
Yes, I do.